I wanted to record this really quickly. The concept is I don't like Stewie as a person. I've played against him in Pugs. I didn't really like his attitude. I don't think that he's qualified to be on Cloud9. However, I am not a bitter, spoiled fuck like the rest of Counter NACS. And if it was up to me, I would group together and I would offer what talent or what insights I have to improve my fellow NACS shitlord, right? So what I thought would actually really help Stewie, and if I was involved in the Cloud9 organization, if I was a mind, a consultant on there, which for the record I'm not being paid or officially connected with them in any sort of way. What I would do to improve and better Stewie is I would actually try to get Brax, aka Swag Braxton Pierce, who is one of the most talented players in the game at one point, just a fantastic lurker. I would tell him, all right, mate, look, your career's done. You're on contract with us to be a streamer. And we want to retain you in that contract. But between you and me on the Lolo, what I'd like you to do is I would like it if, maybe we could get you in the server. Maybe we can get you like a GoTV relay somehow. Maybe we could work something out where all I want you to do is watch Stewie in scrims, watch Stewie in practices, watch Stewie in league matches, and I want you to be the guy who basically is like his positional coach. And I would actually turn Stewie into a lurker for Cloud9 because Stewie has some talent. He could gay people. He could backstab people. I mean, I originally stated that Shroud, you could have Shroud on the peripheral in a 1-3-1. You could have nothing on another peripheral, and Shroud won't get pushed. And yes, that's true, but I really do like... In fact, first of all, you could still do that. You could still do that and then go into another formation where Shroud kind of supports or is flanking an adjacent bomb site, right? So if you're hitting A, you would have Shroud door, and Shroud would come out door. If you're hitting B, you wouldn't have Shroud door, and you'd actually have Shroud come with you guys, maybe mid, and then he could flank in from vent. Because what I really like the dynamic of is putting Jordan, nothing Gilbert, in his best spot where he could do best, which has historically been as more of a playmaker, trade fragger type of player, an aggressive rifler who kind of either is entry fragging or going in with his entry fragger and trading off him and making plays that way because he has sick aim, sick reactions, and he's just a sick player. Skill wise, some of the best movement and skill I've seen. Lurpus said in all of Counter-Strike, he's second to only Forrest in terms of skill, which is an incredible statement to make. So somebody like Jordan doing this role, like let's say, in a 2-2-1, you would have maybe like Jordan and Freak working together, and Shroud and Stewie, or you'd have Shroud and Freak working together, and you'd have, Jordan and Stewie, then you'd have Skadoodle off somewhere. I wouldn't do it that way though. I'd have Stewie lurking one side. I'd have maybe like Shroud and Ska, or Jordan and Ska, and then Freakazoid and somebody else, right? Freakazoid and like Shroud or Jordan, whoever doesn't want to be with Ska in a 2-2-1. In a 1-3-1, you might have Shroud on one side, flanking, like I said, and Stewie on the other. This is what I would do to make Stewie play his best, to put Stewie in the best position where he can play, as opposed to him just kind of like being like a trade fragger playmaker off of Ryan, off Freakazoid, because Freakazoid is an entry fragger, and then Stewie says, well, I'm an entry fragger. It's like, okay, well, sure, but Stewie kind of does what he wants to do too. He likes to lurk sometimes. He likes to hold back sometimes, and an entry fragger really is creating space for the players behind him, is going out wide peeking, putting himself out there and hoping his teammate can get the trade. If not, trying his best to get the kill, obviously. But for Stewie specifically, when we're talking about a 4-1, he'd be by himself. He would be lurking. A 1-3-1, he'd be on one side. In a 3-2, maybe he'd be with Jordan or Shroud and or something, and Stewie could go out somewhere, and then they could morph back into something, or they could be together in a 3-2 and hit somewhere together, like Stewie and Shroud or Stewie and Jordan or whatever might be the case, right? So that's how I would work it in a formation. But the best thing I would do is that I'm thinking if Stewie has all this talent, you put Stewie into like a lurking role and you say, because he hasn't been before. Stewie's been an entry fragger his entire career, okay? But players can change roles. For example, Cutler. Somebody called Cutler a lurker. Cutler was never a lurker until Thorin called him a lurker. And then the Cutler was like, this fucking Ginger's onto something. I should lurk. Maybe I am good at post plants, which he always has been. But Cutler actually was more of an entry fragger, and he'd step back and he'd secure rounds and stuff. So that's why Thorin would see him in some post plants while he's drunkenly on the side of like a lounge, eating some candy and bantering with whoever the fuck else is sucking his dick under the table. So, oh God, that's really funny to me. I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry. So basically I'd do that. I'd have Brax mentor Stewie. I'd have Stewie just become a sponge. I'd have Brax watch Stewie, observe Stewie, and tell Stewie, okay, look, bro, instead of going here, do this, man. Just come over here and do that. And just like, you don't really stop. Like, you don't want to really go. That's my best Brax impersonation. He's a nice guy, really cool kid, very down to earth. I talked to him and he's like, yo, what's up? And he didn't do that whole like charade of like, oh, yeah. So he's a really cool guy, and I hope there's a place for him in CS still. The only problem that I can think with this is Valve, really, right? So the whole Valve issue is kind of like really bugging me, and I so wish that I was a billionaire, because if I was, one of the things I would do is actually I would hire like I would throw money at it. I would actually throw money in the drain on the situation. I'd find an attorney who's willing to take the case. I'd find an attorney who's willing to go into Seattle with these players, with Steele or Brax or whatever. And I'd find an attorney who's willing to go down there, talk to them, treat with them, see what can be worked out. What can you guys do? Can there be any leeway? Can you guys let them coach? Can you guys like maybe reverse your decision? I mean, you guys, you have the authority to do whatever the fuck you want. So. And honestly, I think this last year could have been used to do that. And that's the thing that kind of upsets me. Like maybe that was their limitation for appeals, and that limitation closed, and nobody thought, hey, of course, I mean, who would? Let me throw $40,000, $50,000, because that's what attorneys actually cost for you to have them work on your case like this. $60,000 for them to go and pursue this in their caseload and actually do something like this, like a corporate attorney, and try to get this corporation to, sort of like turn back their sanctions and see things a different way, right? Jesus Christ, I have a really bad pain in my shoulder. So this is what I would do to help Stewie, is just have Brax constantly watching him, constantly telling him how he could improve his gameplay and be better. I mean, the other way about it that you could do it is you could tell Brax, like, look, we're going to have you just review Stewie demos. Just sit there, turn on OBS, hop up a Stewie demo, and just skip right through it. Tell him what he's doing wrong. I don't care if you're half-assing it or whatnot. Just do it. I just want you to do it. Like, you can do it in your style. You can do it the way you want to do it. Please do it after our games. Do it after our scrims or whatever. And you'll see Stewie grow as a player. You'll see Stewie get so much better. So if I had any say in it, if I was in the organization, that's what I would do. I would actually try to make the best out of the situation that they have. Maybe I'd get a coach who could actually like innovate strategies and do stuff too. And I mean, obviously they need a coach, so they need a lot of work as a team to work into team play and to set strategies and timing down and get into being like a well-oiled machine. So yeah, that's the video about Stu. It's a short video. No, it isn't. It's like 9 minutes. Anyway, comment, like, subscribe if you've watched this whole fucking thing. And just if you watch the whole thing, type I'ma do like Stu do. Just say I'ma do like Stu do, and I'll know you watched it. Probably nobody's gonna say this because I suck.